My internet. Oh, fuck. Yo,
Episode
episode.
6. This is 6?
Yes, bro. This is we're doing the devil episode.
That's kind of wild, actually.
Imagine if we made it to episode 666. It'd be problematic. Oh my God.
The Cerberus.
You're sir. I think the episode started.
I was saying
with
somebody should have made a beer called that.
Woo! Bro, that'd be actually kind of smart.
No.
Everybody that there was definitely an increase in liquor sales when everybody was receiving the serve.
Yeah,
$2,000.
One of the amazing things, like something stupid in Nova Scotia in particular, is that, and some other provinces, is that alcohol sales are like controlled by the government. Like if you go to Alberta, you can have like a private business that sells weed and liquor. You know what I mean? Like you can have.
Oh yeah, we just got the NSLC out here,
but we just have the Nova Scotia Liquor Commission or whatever the fuck it's called. So it's just weird that it's so like nationalized or whatever.
Well, the episode started off with me. My screen was saying unstable internet connection, so I don't know if it was froze right off the bat. But this is episode 6.
Not for me.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. Obviously, we are not physically together right now due to the fact that there is a substantial amount of active COVID cases that have just popped up out of nowhere here in Nova Scotia because people be visiting from Ontario and bringing that shit with them. So we are not allowed to be together right now. I think there's a restriction of I think it's like 3 people max. And
it's weird. The rules don't even make any sense. It's like if you live in a household of 1 to 2 people, you can have people over.
You can have one more person in there.
Or something like that. But like
you can bring it up to 3.
That's just so dumb. That doesn't make any sense.
But yeah, I know it's kind of strange. I think it's just a refrain from having people be extremely lonely, I guess. But if you live in a household, and don't quote me because I don't know the exact rules, but I know that we're not necessarily supposed to be around each other, so that's enough. But I would imagine if you live in a household of, let's say, 5, obviously 2 people aren't going to get trimmed off the top of that and sent elsewhere. It's just basically
your kids, fuck those people.
Yeah,
just send them over.
Yeah.
Find somebody that lives by themselves and just give your kids to that person for a while.
Yeah, separating kids from their parents, like they're at the border heading into the States. Oh my God, we're really well. I guess it's a different vibe now because we're not actually.
I'm in my own house.
You're in your own house, yeah. This is what happens when we actually can't be filming together.
You likely won't be able to see this though because it'll make no noise unless you make absolutely no noise while I'm doing this.
Well, maybe I just won't talk while you do this.
Okay, I'll see if I can make it.
We're not even monetized yet, but would this get us demonetized? It's funny because I think the screen lights up when the camera is showing me or you, and it's still lit up for me.
Yeah, it was because you were talking, so that probably doesn't exist in the video.
It doesn't, no. But I kind of wish you could see both sections of the screen because if you're talking, you can see my reaction. I can be like,
"Hey, people, I just hit a bong."
Yeah, that's documented nonetheless. It's legal. I'm drinking. Same level. You can purchase from the same location in Nova Scotia. You can put the beer and the weed in the same store.
It's so funny. It's so funny, like that. There's, like, if you buy weed at the store, right? They put it inside of a bag and they seal the bag with a sticker. You can't open the bag until you leave the premises. But like, imagine if you went and picked up beer off the shelf. Like you can pick up beer off the shelf, buy it. Not put it in a bag. Hold it in your hand as a can, like this, and just walk out of the store. And that's not a problem. But
I did that yesterday.
But you can't do that with weed. Like if you buy weed, you can't just walk out with the jar of weed in your hand.
You have to put it inside of the bag. You
have to put it inside of a bag, and then they seal the bag with a sticker. So you can't open the bag until you leave.
I've seen that firsthand. I don't think I've really been to the liquor store with people that often when they're just specifically going there to buy weed. Maybe Sean a couple times. Maybe you once when it first was legalized. When did weed become legal in Canada? Was that like in late 2017? Are we like coming up on almost 4 years of?
I feel like it was like 2018. it was still warm outside. It was like just
Jason, if you're
fall.
watching this is where we need you. This is where Jason will come in and he'd be
Well,
like, weed legal Canada. I'll race you
legal.
to it. 2 years after legalizing cannabis, has Canada kept its promises? And this was written April. Oh, was it 2019?
That's what it was. October 17th, 2018. That's what I was saying. It was like early fall.
Yeah, I remember that.
2018.
I remember it was really fall.
It was a celebration, dude. When I went to the liquor store the first day because we only had the one location here, and it was pretty wild. I went on my lunch break. I definitely didn't have time for that shit, but I was like, I'm staying in this line because the first day, you know what I mean, that you can go and buy weed, and it was funny because the weed was so bad because it was like they were preparing for that. And
was that Reggie Bush?
They had. It was good weed. It was just they were stocking up for like months and months and months. So by the time that they opened up, like all the weed that was in supply in the stores, it was dry as shit. Like you could take it in your fingers and turn it to dust.
So it's not that same level of dryness now.
It's still pretty bad, honestly, compared to like street weed. Like, I mean, you don't smoke now, but like back in the day, we smoked like fucking. You get the sticky weed. You don't get that at the liquor store, period. Like, just doesn't happen.
The liquor store does not have that sticky icky?
No.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, like it's good. Some of the stuff there is pretty good. But, and it's pretty cheap too. Like, relative to like back in the day, like if you're getting something off the street, like, I could never get arrested for this because I did it underage. But
you already did get arrested for it.
That was just for smoking weed. But when I was prior to me being 18, I dabbled in the weed export game. And like when I was buying it to sell, it was like I was lucky to get it for like 140 an ounce for like cheap shit. And now you can get ounces at the liquor store that are like $110.
Yeah. Well, I mean, tune into the Mitchell Squared podcast for all your financial trap information. I mean, essentially, we do talk about hip hop a lot, and one of the most popular trends in hip hop is snitching on yourself. So,
Snitched on my
God bless
my young self. It's I couldn't get in trouble for it anyway.
Young Self, bro. That should be your new rap name when you come back in the game.
Oh man,
Sounds very Third Eye.
I actually almost got in really big trouble, like right before we moved to Halifax. Like, I almost messed up. Well, I did mess up. I just didn't get caught somehow. It was like the craziest shit ever. But I had like a big, our big tall curly-haired associate still has the jar.
I think I remember this.
Yeah.
Shout out to the big, tall hair, curly hair associate. I don't think he has curly hair anymore, but I love him to death. And he'll be a guest on this podcast eventually.
Absolutely. We gotta get shit face look like him and do this.
Snitch on him too. Well, I mean, no one like this is all for entertainment purposes anyway. So we're out here trapping.
But he still has the jar that this happened with. It's a big, big jar that I had. Probably like, hold on. Are you making a wizard stick? You should make a wizard stick.
That's what I'm thinking, man. I was just going to suggest that so as I could. Usually when we were doing the podcast over the last few weeks.
See you, Wayne.
See you, Wayne. Over the last few weeks, I mean, since we've been starting, really, I've been only drinking the craft beers from tall cans and stuff, but I went straight up Bud Light today because all the liquor stores were closed on Sunday.
Is my car open? Yes. I believe it is. Just throw it on the back set. Sorry.
No, that's okay, man. That the people will enjoy that. It's real shit. We have families and friends over on this side.
What were we just talking about?
You were just about to incriminate yourself.
Oh yeah. get back to that. But
smart decision actually because of your the abrupt visit in the room. But anyway, no, Wizard Sticks. I mean, yeah, shout out to the Wizard Sticks, bro. I've been drinking craft beer for majority of us filming the podcast episodes and everything, but all the liquor stores were closed down today. And the only one that's open was Mullins, which is in Albert Bridge, which is, for people that don't know the area here, is about 25 minutes away from where we are. So I made the journey out there to get the beer for the pod tonight. So here we go. I got the beer. But they only let 2 people into the liquor store at once. So you got to go in there, and it's a small space. That's because it's like in a convenience store / bakery / grocery store. It's like a bunch of different things because like in the middle of nowhere. So but the one benefit of living out there in the woods is like you got a place that, the liquor store is always open, whether it's Canada Day, random holiday, Sundays, that shit is always open. And anyway, so I go in there, and I didn't really have enough time to browse. And there is a limited selection in there, so I just went with the Bud Light. But you know what the thing is? It does come at a cost of it being open all the time because the prices are slightly higher. Olin's, which would be $24, $23.99 on a good day at the liquor store here, is like $27
on a good day.
Yes. So $23.99. Oh yeah, exactly. Well, $24.99, $23.99. You can say that dollar.
Okay.
That's what I meant to say, because I know that the price of Olin's has fluctuated over the last year. I was always getting it back.
I think they put it up.
That's what I'm thinking. I think it might have raised, and that's why I have that theory in my head.
I feel like I heard somebody else say that.
But, so I went with Bud Light because it was like 24. It was the best decision. And I felt like it was sunny out. It was a beautiful day out here today. I went for a walk through the trails. I went to the beach. I had a beaver tail, bro. You ever have beaver tails? Ever go to Halifax with your family when you ever go on like a little family vacay, eat some beaver tails? Because we got them out here now. We've had them out here for a bit.
First time I had a beaver tail was at what's that water park called? In like Moncton.
Magic Mountain,
man. First time I had a beaver tail was at Magic Mountain. I was like, this is fucking magical. And then this is the thing, man. Like after I got into like working out, after I did my like first diet, and I really like watched what I watched what I was eating, but I controlled what I was eating. You know what I mean? Like I knew exactly how much protein, fat, carbs I was taking in a day. So I had to strategically plan that out. You know what I mean? Like if I felt like eating pizza that day, like I had to calculate what was going on in my day. I couldn't just like randomly eat something like that. But after I got into that habit of like having, say, a set amount of carbohydrates or whatever for a certain amount of time, I really lost my appetite for sweets. And since then, like I went to Halifax one time after I got into working out and whatnot, and I had a beaver tail. It was that day sucked. I actually went on the Harbor Hopper, and it couldn't get back up the ramp. We got stuck in the water.
No way.
And I didn't put any sunscreen on, and I got burned to death. And I remember
big
eating
burns with the beaver tails.
I had a beaver tail like after that, and I was like, this is fucking terrible. It was a completely different experience. I was like, I took like 2 bites, and I was like, this is kind of gross. But I can understand the enjoyable, like if I was like really high or something, I could probably eat.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, definitely. I got the banana and chocolate one. It's called
banana and chocolate.
Yeah, it's called like cabana or something. Cabana. It was delicious. It was quite good.
Dude, they have a fucking we have a banana French toast at work, and it's like you get the French toast, and then there's like a caramel sauce, and we like whip bananas into the caramel sauce. It's ridiculous. Something that I normally wouldn't think that I would eat, but it is like so sweet and fucking addictive.
Bananas are underrated. I appreciate bananas. I remember one time
bananas are crazy.
That it's sus. It's gay for men for heterosexual men to eat bananas. I was like, man, that you're upholding yourself to like a very strict level of masculinity. You can't even eat bananas, bro. Like I'm sure that Wiz Khalifa has been with enough women to be comfortable enough to eat some bananas.
Bananas are actually crazy because in terms of like cost to energy consumed through like nutrients, like they're basically like sugar, you know what I mean? So, and you can get bananas for like 89 cents a pound. They're pretty much like the cheapest fruit or vegetable that you can buy anywhere, and they're so high in like nutrients, it's ridiculous. Bananas are like, if you're like broke, bananas are a huge hack. Like consuming bananas.
I guess so, that makes sense if you just understood the nutrient value in the banana game.
Well, even just in general, even if you're just looking at price point, like you can buy an insane amount. Like if you took $25 to the store and went and got all like $25 worth of bananas, you'd be walking home with like 2 fucking full grocery bags of bananas.
Wow, I've never really buying. Even when I was in my apartment, I never was buying bananas like that. Maybe I got bananas like 2 or 3 different times. But
I don't eat them. Well, I find that kind of, they're heavy on my stomach. And my dad always said that. He always said he's like allergic to bananas, and I was like, I don't feel like that makes sense. But no, like sometimes I eat.
Scared of looking gay.
But sometimes I eat. Well, not that it doesn't make sense, but I was like, that's a weird. I've never heard that before. But I eat bananas sometimes that make me feel not great. Like they're just like heavy. Yeah. But they are really like full of like they have a high nutrient content. Like they're high in sugars. They're high in potassium. They're high in like a lot of vitamins. They're just like a very nutrient dense thing. It's like heavy on your stomach.
Yes. Bananas and all the banana consumers, man. I like to put some bananas in my cereals.
This is not where we're trying to go.
Oh man, you know what? I like it. It's natural. That's what we've been talking about anyway. You just skip like 17 minutes into this. You're like, man, bananas are higher, and fucking they're bang. You get your bang for your buck with bananas. Wiz Khalifa thinks they're gay, and my dad is allergic to them. And man, you go to the store with $25, you can get a lot of bananas. And that's what people want to hear, man. They want to get a distraction from what's going on in the world, the news, and everything. They want to come.
Lots of people are broke, man. They don't want to spend money on food. Bananas.
Yes, drink alcohol, get drunk off the hand sanitizer, and
you can just take those bananas and take some yeast and just make fucking liquor, bro.
That's true. You can make a fucking sweet ass summer margarita.
Fucking bananas.com.
We can dive into the first topic here. So DJ Khaled released a new album on Friday called Khaled Khaled. That man is just so confident in himself, and he just loves himself.
Wasn't his last album called Khaled? Or didn't he have an album called Khaled?
I don't believe so. I actually have his entire Wikipedia page up in front of me right now, and I read through his whole Wikipedia page before we did this. His last album came out in 2019. I forget what it was called, but it came out on the same day as Tyler, the Creator's Igor, and Igor shot past it, and Khaled did the most. He had like a bundle, like I don't know if it was with like Monster Energy or something, but he did one of those bundle packages where you get like, you buy some merch or you buy this product and it comes with the album to boost the sales and whatever. And he still came number 2 to Igor, and he went into his record label's office and had a big freak out, which is funny. But this album came out and it features his last album wasn't called. I'll tell you what his last album was called. His last album was called Father of Assad.
Yeah, that's what I was getting confused with. But it's funny because that was the title that I was thinking of, but for some reason I was thinking it was Major Key.
It was name oriented, nonetheless. That's the name of his son. But yeah, the album features Jay-Z, Nas, Drake, Lil Baby 3 times, Post Malone, Justin Bieber, DaBaby, 21 Savage, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Migos, Lil Wayne. Did I say Drake? Probably. Post Malone, God himself.
So
not Post Malone is God, but
I actually I said that I didn't listen to most of this, but I thought it was longer than that. The only tracks that I haven't heard are Grease featuring Drake and Where You Come From. The last 2 tracks on the album.
Well, Grease with Drake came out a while ago, along with that song Popstar. Those were 2 singles that came out in the fall, I think.
I was wondering about that, and I wanted to talk about that because that's like a major kind of like hack when it comes to like streams, is that they'll put out these big singles. Like, I mean, everybody does it. Drake himself does it, but like in DJ Khaled's case, like having these singles out, like Popstar was out months ago, right? I feel like that was out like 6 months ago. I don't know if that's accurate.
Yeah, it came out in the summer, I think. But there's a line that he has in that song where he references 2020, like he talks He has a line that's like 2020, I'm about to fuck it up. Like he's about to fuck it up in 2020. So 2020 was very.
That's crazy that
The opportunity to fuck it up was out
So
there.
well, if you think about that line too, like that sounds like something that was written in 2019, which is crazy that it's coming out in 2021.
Could be. Did you ever see the video where that song where Justin Bieber is Drake?
Yes.
Drake's not even in the video.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
That was cool, but like what I was getting to is like the amount of like first week sales that he has is going to be heavily based on these two Drake singles that have come out way ahead of time. You know what I mean? Because his streams are going to count towards his first week sales because they go on the album.
Yeah, well, the album currently at this time of recording is projected to sell 80,000 to 100,000 first week, which is decent.
So, how do you look at can you just look at like streams?
I think like 5,000 of these are like pure sales. I don't know what the conversion is from streams to actual sales, but it's quite a bit.
Okay, so Popstar has 384 million streams already, and then Grease has 200. You said 5,000. You say 5,000 to a sale or something like that.
No, the streams. I have absolutely no idea. Maybe I don't know. I used to know. I'll look it up.
I remember you brought that up before. But like whatever that number is.
Oh, I was talking about how much money is converted, like per 1,000 streams, like $4 US on Spotify.
No, not that. It was not on the podcast that we talked about this.
Oh, for us, 150 streams is a one track sale for albums. All official audio and video streams from within the U.S. are counted in addition to TA per sales. 1,500 streams equals 10 tracks. So 1,500 streams on an album equals one sale.
Okay, so let's just add these numbers together. It's 384,000. That's 384 million plus 273 million. Fucking scientific here.
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
What were those numbers? 384, 273.
I have no idea. Regardless, he is projected to sell 80,000, 100,000 first week, but that is based off of the amount of streams that he's getting right now. Although he didn't have many competitors with albums that were coming out this weekend. I wonder because of how hard he went to promote his last album and it not get that number one spot that he probably craves, because I'm sure numbers
1,500 can't be the number, because if that was accurate, then he would automatically hit fucking 438,000 sold.
So no, that's 1,500 would be 150 is one track.
150 streams?
So that would be even more. Yeah. So I don't really know that it probably varies.
Yeah.
But
regardless, a large amount of those albums sold are going to come from. You know what? It's probably the 1,500 a track based on like a certain amount equals an album. Say like 12 songs equals an album. So it'd be like 1,500 times that or whatever. Maybe it works based on the size of the album. God knows. But
all of the sales that would come from that individual song would most likely translate over and be added into what other accolades and the overall cumulative numbers from all the other songs. Like if the song comes in with 400 million or 300 million streams already gets thrown in there, and then there's all these other songs, like that is going to count towards,
it's over 600 million between those two songs.
Yeah, that's retarded. That's crazy. Those songs weren't even like those songs were big, but those songs like probably aren't even like considered like top 10, 15, 20 biggest Drake songs ever. They're just like whatever songs.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The Drake feature on Khaled's album is the hack, because he's gonna automatically sell.
Like, but why do you think he's running through his backyard screaming that we got the Drake vocals and then dives in his pool and shit? I mean, he knows when he gets the Drake vocals, it's said and done. For free. I'm on one. What's the other songs that he did with Drake?
Know what
No,
else I found interesting on this album was that Justin Timberlake was on there.
that Justin Timberlake song is one of the best songs on that whole album. He's spitting facts. If you listen to the lyrics, what he's saying, it's like some real like mature life lesson shit, and it is very uplifting. What I like about this album, I think DJ Khaled always releases albums around like before summer, and they match up with like the best possible summer scenario. Like a lot of these songs would be great if you listen to them while you're driving to the beach. Like there's that song with Bryson Tiller that I think is really good. That song with Justin Bieber and 21 Savage is pretty impressive too. I like it. It's kind of short and whatever, but I like the background vocals behind Justin Bieber's chorus that are like, oh, that's just cool.
I found that I've never been like a Cardi B hater, but I never really liked her music that much to listen to myself. But that was probably actually one of the first Cardi B songs that I was like, yeah, I fuck with this. Like,
she was talking her shit on it about her accomplishments and stuff.
yeah.
Like she was like, I've been getting more. I don't know what she said. Get more paper, so I'm getting more haters or some shit. But that song stood out to me in comparison to the other songs in a way where I'm like, I am skipping over the song because
absolutely. It's only significant to me because usually when I hear Cardi B, I hit next. And I was just out for a drive.
Cardi B, I think, yeah. Don't continue, sorry.
I was just out for a drive, and I was like, I was listening to it just, I threw the album on the day it came out, I believe. And I just rolled into it, and I was like, oh, shit, like halfway through the song, I was like, fuck, like, this is Cardi B. Like, this is dope. I can fuck with this. But, like, I don't know what the difference is. Maybe it's a slight difference in the content of, like, the fucking lyrics or whatever, but it just seemed kind of, like, harder or something. I don't know. I liked it. I fucked with that.
Yeah, I think it was good for what she was saying. I can appreciate, like, the thought that was put in. I mean, maybe this will get some flack, but the thought that was put into every single line that she said on that song.
Yeah,
like, I don't think Cardi B is the type of artist that it can just, like, not everything just flies by the people that are around her in the studio. If she goes into the studio and she just hears a beat and her and whoever helps her write, or if she writes all of her stuff herself, I don't know that there's been accusations and people that obviously came out and said they helped Cardi B write some stuff over the last week.
I'm sure. But there's that whole thing about Drake, like when people thought Drake stole that X song, and then it was like, oh, Drake's, remember that? This is so, like, in the past. But it was like, oh, Drake has ghostwriters and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he was like, basically said, and I think this goes for a lot of people, like, especially when you're signed to a major label, like, you're going to have, like, not necessarily, like, think tanks, but, like, people, like, you're going to have this little focus group with your label, and they're going to say, well, what about this line? What about this line?
Well, that's what they're contributing. They're like, we have so much talent on our end here.
Yeah, and they're going to have other writers in the room suggesting things. So it's like, you might have a line that you write, but then it gets adapted a certain way to, you could say that, but if you worded it this way, it would hit more directly, or, whatever. You know what I mean? And even
there's a lot more calculated. There's a lot more of calculated effort into the actual creative process of a song when there's just more money involved.
Even at the level that, like, you're at, I'm sure, like, I know I can't remember the song, but I know that I said something to you one time, and it was like, you know what I mean? Like, it was, I can't remember the fucking
like verse, 2015 shit. Are you talking about, like, Fallen?
It was just like it was just like you condensed something that you didn't have to, or something, and you didn't, like, you took a word out, like, I can't remember what it was, but it was, I remember I suggested something to you, and you changed it to that, and it was just like,
I took the advice.
But that doesn't mean, like, I wrote anything.
I actually listened to what your suggestion was, and I went in and I fixed it. I think I'm kind of remembering this.
I can't remember what the song was, but it was just, it was just like, you know what I mean? I was like, if you said this way, it would sound better, and you'd change. But what I'm getting to is that doesn't mean I wrote your song. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that
You know what I
Cardi
mean?
B as
So
well.
so you can
Yeah,
have other people in the room suggesting things and making changes to what you said, and it
yeah.
doesn't mean like you didn't write it. And that's
No,
basically,
exactly.
and then that's exactly what Drake said when there was the whole, oh, Drake uses ghostwriters. It's like, sure, like I'm gonna bounce my ideas off people's heads, or they're gonna throw their opinions at me, and you know the end result might be different. But I wrote this song. You know what I mean? Like I
I don't
came up
even
with
think
it.
that's questionable that Drake is one of the best songwriters
But I
in the
think I think
21st
most people
century.
write their. I don't think Cardi B is just having songs written for her. You know what I mean? Like
No,
she's
because I
she's
mean that
coming
is
like you're coming up with like a rough concept. If you look at it like writing a book, you're gonna send it to an editor and they're gonna go over it and say, you know, change this to this and change this to that. You know what I mean?
well,
It's like
exactly. And the thing is too is like you got to think now. I mean, maybe it could get to a point now where if COVID aside, she's touring and all of the shows that she's booked for are making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and she's busy and she needs to do media appearances, but at the same time they need to continue that momentum and be creating new product to sustain that interest in their artists. From a label's perspective, they might be like, hey, we have 10 extremely talented rappers, songwriters, etc., that have written 10 songs that would suit your energy and your image and your brand. Maybe listen to them. This is the demo, whatever. Try them out. Maybe make some adjustments that could be more relatable to you. I think something more along the lines of that can happen from time to time for artists whose claim to fame isn't necessarily as much about them as an artist, and then it's more about them as a
a
public
brand.
figure, which
Yeah.
is Cardi B. But at the same time, you got to take into consideration like an artist for the most part probably isn't going to get signed by a label who is going to put a bunch of money into that person because they believe in them if that artist didn't already make quality music on their own. Like it's never
Yeah.
like that shit
No,
does
yeah.
not happen like where they just are like, oh, Cardi B, like you were a popular stripper in the Bronx or wherever you were, wherever the location of the clubs were that you were working in, we're gonna make you a rapper now. It's like, no, she still had to go and invest in herself and make music herself and drop a couple projects that generated some hype before there was interest from people that could invest in her to make her bigger. Maybe she has people help her with all of her songs now. But I remember hearing an interview from her, and she said that she re-records her stuff all the time because she is, I don't know what her original descent is, but she's like Latino, and I don't know if she's Puerto Rican. I don't know. Don't quote me on this, but she does like speak Spanish primarily to English, I think. So she's very conscious of.
She's from New
how
York. It wouldn't be uncommon for her to be like have a Spanish descendant parent and an African descendant parent. She's definitely black
Yeah,
and
of
something.
course.
But like
Yeah. What is Cardi B shit? How's she rocking in the ethnicity department?
I mean, I have
So
the
she
white. I
said,
have the whitest black children of all time.
in an interview in 2018, talking about being Afro-Latina and Afro-Caribbean. I don't want to get too into this. Let's take away time from stuff. But basically, yeah, shout out to Cardi B. I can't believe out of all of the songs in this album, we focused on Cardi B and then broke down like her creative process. But
That's my
nonetheless,
fault.
I respect Cardi B. No, it's fine, man. But like the Nas and Jay-Z song, did you listen to that? I like how Nas called himself cryptocurrency Scarface as a
I know, and
cryptocurrency
I love how he shouted
mongrel
out
SMS.
Coinbase because
Do you know why he
I
shouted out
have.
Coinbase?
Yes, he's a initial investor in Coinbase, I believe. He made like
Yeah, he has
100
like a
million.
holdings company. Well, basically, like, yeah, from what the value of Coinbase share, like the value of the Coinbase shares that he purchased back in 2014, I think, have substantially increased to the point where he would be up 100 million, I think, if he would decide to sell. And he got like a bunch of like, maybe he didn't get a bunch of flack from the general listening audience, but media companies and stuff, they'll take negative tweets. They get a couple hundred likes and retweets and stuff, and they'll use it as an article to be like, people were giving
Oh
Nas
fuck!
shit for saying.
Ethereum's about to hit 3,000 American.
Yeah, that's what people have been waiting for, baby. But
That's what I'm
anyway,
waiting for.
we're
Sorry.
just got this up here. And BTC, this other coin that I'm invested in now is actually going crazy right now as we're talking here. But people on Twitter were really giving Nas some shit for that cryptocurrency Scarface line for whatever reason. It was like someone was like 12-year-old Nas didn't go to hell, so 47-year-old Nas could call himself cryptocurrency Scarface. Someone said,
Fuck you, man. Everybody's making
yeah,
money right now. If you're not making money, it's just because you're
exactly.
dumb. Not putting your money on the market.
Someone said Nas called himself the cryptocurrency Scarface, and I almost broke my thumb turning it off. Y'all really blown away by Nas calling himself the cryptocurrency Scarface. Just wait till you find out that he used to be waving automatic guns at nuns. But it's like, I don't understand. And there was another one here. It was like Jay-Z and Nas do a song in 2021. And what do they talk about? Coinbase, angel investing, Silicon Valley, and intermittent fasting. Bro, they're like almost 50. What do you want them to talk about? They're not Chief Keef.
Yeah, well, we're fucking 23, and it's like, you just gotta, they're talking about fucking grown man shit. You know what I mean? Making money.
The people that are making those type of comments,
Like,
obviously,
I don't say it.
aren't mature enough to understand why they're even fucking talking about it in the first place.
It's like,
you understand nothing. Like, they took the amount of money that they were making from their music career and their catalog, and they, you know, were smart with their money, and they didn't blow it on drugs and then do stupid shit to get them arrested and have to get bailed out and all this bullshit, whatever. They have been around for 25 years, 20 plus years at least, and they're still relevant. You're still talking about them right now. Why do you think that is the case? I mean, those guys have taken the money that they made from music and invested in different avenues that have made them much more money than music. Like, why are you talking about them on Twitter with your broke ass?
well,
Nas is the crypto Scarface. It's fun. It's a bar. You think Nas is sitting in the studio all day, every day, being like, I need to make the next hottest album? The dude
he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to. He made more money off fucking Coinbase going public than he ever made in his rap career.
He made more money putting money music and other stuff that had give him the leverage to make money from those other things because of his music into Coinbase 7 years ago, which just goes public on the stock market and makes a bunch of money because cryptocurrency is like the fucking hottest thing ever right now. And he makes a bunch of money, and he can take that money and make more money. It's like, what are you talking about, dude? Like,
Well,
anyone
like,
that is talking down on that line, who do you think he gives a fuck about that line, bro? He's won a Grammy from his music, and he's making more money in different locations than ever.
like,
Just Nas.
like a month ago, I zeroed out my fucking crypto account to pay bills and shit, right? So I had nothing. And it was less than 2 weeks ago. I put $365 in, and no, it was less. It was a little bit less than that. Actually, I didn't zero out my account. It held on to like $13 or something. I put $350 in, and right now my account is at $465. So it's less than 2 weeks. My account grew $100.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that, and it off of $350. So like that's not even. That's like that's a nothing. That's fucking piss away money. You know what I mean?
People spend that on $100,000 into that. How much more money would make?
Yeah,
the
like
more
people
money
spend
you have,
$350 on a pair of shoes or 2 pairs of shoes. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
That's like nothing. But you put that away, and then it's like over less than 2 weeks, you earn $100 on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're already up.
That's
Think
2
about it,
weeks.
people
What's
more
gonna
money for
happen?
that.
What's gonna happen in a year? And
Yeah, if you doubled that, you would be up $200, and if you tripled, they'd be up $300.
And if you triple that and held on to it for fucking like a year, it's like, where's that going to be at? You know what I mean? Like it's
people are way too focused on trying to buy stuff right in the moment, and that's what holds everybody back. As soon as they get a little bit of money, they go and buy out things that they want right now, and they figure out kind of excuses to justify why they're buying this right now. Oh, this makes me happy. And
I don't blame them. Like since I had like I have my I think I wore it on the last episode, my like rose sweater, pink and blue sweater.
Yeah, you've been coming through with the fire fits. That's for sure.
I'm trying to
flagging me by a mile.
I'm pulling shit out of the closet. But I used to spend money on clothes. Like remember, I used to have a lot of hats. Remember that time we went up to Halifax? We had that condo, and I just had like fucking like.
We were also like fucking 9.
Yeah, but the thing is, then before I had any responsibilities, it was like, oh, spend $50 on a hat. Yeah, fuck it. You know what I mean? I don't spend that kind of money on anything.
Bro, I get genuinely excited to put money into stocks or crypto.
I do too, and that
I couldn't stop putting like $100 every couple of days into that B chain, and now I'm up. Like I was buying like 23 cents. Now I have like $300 invested into it, and it's up to 27 cents. So break down the math, that's a bit. And I'm also invested in Ethereum. I put like 250 in Ethereum this week. I want to get back in the Ethereum train. I'd love to have one whole Ether. Like that shit is going to become so useful in the cryptocurrency space because I can't ever see. I don't really even feel like it's at a point now where it's like I don't feel like it's that risky of a bet. Maybe those altcoins and everything, but like people suggest like, in a cryptocurrency portfolio, base a lot of your investments into like, put majority like 80% into Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then use that remaining 20% of the money that you're willing to invest in crypto to play with some of these smaller coins that have the potential to continue to grow up to $1 or whatever. I got into the crypto app with the Dogecoin because I thought I had that referral money from Jason, but I ended up buying it, but I sold that. I'm not really too interested in that right now. But that VeChain thing is interesting because they're partnering with like NFT companies and all that stuff. So it's only like 25 cents a coin on a good day. So if that shit goes up to $1, you're going to quadruple your money every time if you get in to an extent right now. And that's just way more exciting to me than buying something that's just going to satisfy me that's on a material basis right now. Because I want to get to the point where I make good investments right now, and then I can, enjoy that stuff. Essentially, I just want to experience.
The way that I look at it right now is like if I drop like what I was getting to is that like when you don't, and like I would say financially, like you have your car and you have your insurance, you get your phone bill, I would say, and you got a credit card. Like I got like my house and my car and all of those same things, right? So like I have all this money that has to go out, so I can't really spend, based on my income currently, a whole lot of money on myself. But it's easier for me to say take like $15, $20, $25 a week and just tuck that. Like that's more like that feels a lot better than say going out and like splurging on something. Like I haven't bought like when I buy clothes, even like I go to just Value Village or something, like thrift shopping, and find some crazy shit. You know what I mean? And I can get like $20, $30 worth of crazy shit. Well, it's so funny though when you're like high school and stuff. Like I understand why that stuff makes sense. Like I said, I used to buy like $40 hats on the regular. Like as soon as I got a job, it was like nothing really mattered, right? And like you're in that position too, right? Where this is what I was saying is like you don't necessarily have the same kind of financial responsibility that I have to. Like where I have the 2 kids, third on the way. I got the car, I got the house, I got all these things that it's like all that stuff comes first. But like when you're in your position, like what really, I'm really impressed by the way that you can go about spending your money, because you don't necessarily have to be as responsible as I do. You know what I mean?
I want to be financially free. Like I want to have to
Me
be
too.
able. I want this essentially I want to be able to grow what we're doing right here. We're in the earlier phases. Like I feel like it's beginner level podcast shit, first 10 episodes, regardless. But like, I want this to become like a media platform. I like to be able to do my own videos about anything that's going on in music and hip hop and stuff. And then obviously over all that, release music videos, blah, 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 clothing line, put other artists on, invest, all that shit. And I feel like that is what I got to do. But to help me be able to fund that and get to those points and sustain myself, like I would love to be able to invest. Like that's why I want to invest so much right now, because I want to be able to wake up every day and choose what productive thing I'm gonna do that day. Because like I can't really sit around ever. I start thinking about all the things that I could be doing right now to put myself forward. Until I get to those certain points, I can't of course there's always, you gotta have a balance of everything. Having a balance of watching a movie and relaxing and doing things to kind of get your mind off all of the work related creativity related stuff that you want to do. But I like the idea of investing because you do a little bit of research and understand what you're putting your money in, and if you're confident in what you're putting your money in, then you might be a smart one to get your money to grow to sustain the shit you want to do.
Yeah, something that I try to practice, not even necessarily just in investing, but in kind of internalizing knowledge in general, is like to try to not like consume too much of it. So like I don't know what you're investing in, and I'm just using this as an example because I have no idea what you're investing in terms of these like altcoins and stuff.
Just one. Just
Okay.
that VeChain and Ethereum.
Okay. Well, just for example, you don't have anything in Bitcoin? Me either.
I did, and then I just was like, it doesn't
I
matter.
feel like Ethereum has a better future than Bitcoin, honestly.
And I can get a bigger stake in Ethereum. Like I don't have enough financial freedom right now to be able to just get a good position in a huge variety of things. Like mind medicine, I believe in mind medicine's ability to become like a very dominant medicine in the fucking mental health space in the next 2 to 3 years. So I will invest in that over time. When there's giant jumps based off of news, like them getting listed on the NASDAQ and everything, I can take some profits because I have a decent amount of shares in them.
Yeah, you pulled out at a decent time too, like compared to like how it's performing right now. I'm still holding though. Like I'm glad.
I want it to go down. I want the share price to dilute and go down a bit. And
that's another thing too. Like if anybody's watching this that just starts investing, like when you start losing, like when I started investing, I started with like $50, and it was like I was just literally, I didn't have investing.com. I didn't look at anything. Like I didn't look at anything at all. It was just like the top stocks being traded. And what I didn't understand was that meant being bought and sold. So like I would look at that and be like, oh, there's these cheap shares on there. And I was like, oh, they're fucking, I would just look at it like, oh, that's cheap and buy it and hope it was going up or whatever. Like I didn't really keep myself
like Top
informed.
Chips, which is like a penny stock that was on the brinks of fucking destruction. I don't think it's available to trade right now.
Yeah, it is. It's still on my list. Actually, it's doing way better. But
do you still have some?
On my no, it's on my investing list, like investing.com.
No way. I think generally we could talk about investing and stuff all day here because we're trying to get that Skrilla, baby. No, let's I mean, I'm not judging anybody. Do whatever you want with your money because everybody, there's different things that make everybody happy.
Wait, I had a point on all this, is that I find Top Chips is also a good example. Like not to, because I wasn't trying to dig at anything that you were investing in, but I was just saying, like, if you got like super invested in like, say a board talking about a particular altcoin or something, you could get really confident in it. Like I find the best way to be is to kind of like get a general consensus of like what's the general thought on this? Is it going to go up? Like I heard about MindMed from the older brother of a friend of mine at work one night. And then I just looked into it briefly and I was like, okay, this seems solid. And then I bought into it. You know what I mean? Like I try to like keep a kind of almost like medium thought about it. Like not be too invested mentally in what it is that I'm buying. It's just like, what is this? What's the general idea?
At the end of the day, it's going to go up or down regardless of how much.
And then you react to that. But like you don't want to react immediately either, because like if we had bought into Top Chips way like in the beginning of the pandemic, we actually would have made a lot of money. And some of the like when I was really focused on buying into dividends, every single company that I was investing into for dividends at that time that I actually sold. I sold all those shares to invest in like Tesla and Coinbase and like bigger cost shares. If I hadn't have done that, two of the stocks that I was invested in for dividends doubled since that time. So my money, and I think about 80% of my money was in dividend stocks, would have.
People that don't know what dividends are, they're basically companies you buy into that are blue chip stocks. They're companies that are successful and sustainable enough that they're able to just pay you,
give you a little kickback,
50 cents per share a month or every 3 months for just holding them. You don't have to sell them. Price goes up or down, whatever. They're still going to give you that passive income from just holding them in the first place.
So I was at a point where it wasn't significant, but it was like I was saying before, I can only put away a certain amount of money for stocks. But I was at a point where I was getting around $15 a month in dividends, and I was focused mainly on monthly payout dividends stocks.
These are things that like people that have like 200 grand and just put it into the stock market, and through dividends they might get like a few $100s a month. They also have 200 grand stored away, and some of the companies they're invested in might increase substantially in share price, and they're going to profit by putting that, and they're just getting paid for not doing anything.
So Pembina Pipeline was one of the companies that I was invested in for dividends, and this isn't one of the ones that doubled, but it did go up pretty significantly. When I started buying into it, it was $27 a share, and I think it might be sitting around 37 or something. So that's still like a 20-something% increase, or 30-something% increase. But also, like, if you had, when I was buying into it, if you had dropped $300,000, which again is a significant amount of money, but let's just say you knock that back a zero, $30,000, you would be getting $200 a month
For
from
doing
this stock
nothing.
for just
when
holding
that
it.
comes into your brokerage account, and you can withdraw it, you can reinvest it, whatever.
But also,
We'll
you
get
have
off
that
the
one.
stock.
Yeah, sorry.
We'll get off the stock talk for a sec. But that's great though, man. I mean, some people that will watch this will be interested in getting into investing. I know there's some people that have actually messaged me personally since we've kind of touched on this throughout some previous episodes that want to get a little bit more into it. But honestly, that's the thing. Like, when you put me onto getting some money, put it in the stock market last year, really just download Wealth. If you're Canadian, download Wealth Simple Trade. If you're American, Robinhood, I would imagine that's the easiest way for like retail investors just to put it aside and invest in it.
There's some other options.
Google.
Robinhood's a little bit controversial because they kind of fucked around with that whole when GameStop did that thing. Like,
Yeah, but I mean, for the most part, though, I mean, that's an opinion that is just like, if you want to like fight the man, but Robinhood still is like what Wealth Simple is. You just download it, make an account, and then you connect your bank account to the apps, and then put money into the apps, and then you can buy whatever company you want. And but Wealth Simple for Canadians, that is the one that I would suggest to go with. I mean, I haven't tried other ones, but it's been pretty convenient with me. If I put money into something and eventually it profits a bit, and I want to sell my shares to put a couple bucks back into my bank account, it's pretty straightforward. Wealth Simple also has like a $250 like instant deposit now, so you don't have to wait like a few business days for your money to be available in the account, which makes it convenient. And they have a crypto spot now. You can invest in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now it sounds like I'm doing a commercial for Wealth Simple, but moving on. Yeah, I know. I mean, that's the thing too. I mean, there's a lot of people on YouTube that make videos about like the stock market and stuff, and they just put in their like referral code to get like $25 when you deposit $100 and use their code to sign up. And those people that are probably doing that have like a decent amount of people that are subscribed to the channel watching their videos are probably racking in those $25 to invest all the time. They don't need to have like a direct relationship with the brokerage that they're using and talking about and saying to use the referral code, because if they have 10 people use their code and then put money in, they're going to get like $25 every here and then. They're going to be just using free money to invest to make more money, which is fucking genius.
I dropped another 50 on Ethereum because
hey, live on the pod, we are investing into crypto right now.
Wow.
Next thing here though, I want to talk about Yelawolf, man. Yelawolf has dropped 5 albums so far this year. He's dropped a collab album with Kasky, which is fire. I don't know if you checked that one out. Kasky is a rapper.
I actually didn't know that existed.
But it's probably the best one.
Kasky caught my attention when he was signed to Birdman, I think
he still might be. I don't know. Actually, he's probably independent now. He's dropped a couple albums.
Well, that's recently. What I was thinking. Yelawolf must be independent. And I think he was signed to Eminem, wasn't he?
He was with Shady, yeah.
So he must have become
independent recently. But shout out to Kasky. Kasky has a new album coming out. It's called Fine Art. Comes out May 21st. Big fan of Kasky. I heard of him for the first time. Shout out to Loa Gaze. Produced a few of my songs here, and he works for No Jumper. Does the thumbnails, but he showed me Kasky when I was living in Montreal in 2019. And I think Kasky. I don't know where he's from. I don't know. Is he from Texas? Let me just Google this real quick. No, he's from Florida. But he is a white dude. He got some face tats, but he
has I think some of my favorite tattoos.
He's super dope. But him and Yelawolf did an album that came out. It might have came out in February actually. It was called the Yelawolf Black Sheep. Came out February 19th. The intro on that album is phenomenal. It's unbelievable. They have another song called Turn Up in Tijuana, I think it's called. Yeah, Turn Up in Tijuana. Great song. But that was the first project Yelawolf put out this year. Then he did the one with Riff Raff. He did the one with DJ Paul. the one with who was it? DJ Muggs. Is that the name? DJ Muggs? Yeah, DJ Muggs. And then he finally just released the solo full-length album that is just him on it. He only has 2 features from Jelly Roll, Struggle Jennings, and the song Money. But aside from that, it is just him on the project, which is kind of nice because he put out 4 albums that were all collab albums in April. 3 of them were, and then he ends the month of April off with the full-length long anticipated solo album. And I missed the last few Yelawolf albums, not gonna lie. I used to listen to him like in 2012, 2013.
Yeah, the first time I heard of him was from you.
Yeah, but he's amazing. Like, you gotta really listen to this album. Like, I know DJ Khaled dropped his album, which consisted of a bunch of hits, but I want to just touch on there that the few songs there, the one with the Migos and HER on it is fire. The one with Justin Timberlake on the Migos album, DJ Khaled album is dope. And there's a bunch of dope songs on the DJ Khaled album, which I think it's a solid album. But this Mud Mouth album from Yelawolf is definitely the best album that came out this week, I think. Like, the song, you'll really enjoy it. You said you haven't got a chance to check it out yet, but the song Dope, Rocks at Your Window, Hillbilly Einstein, that's the best one on the project. Aquanet is dope. And it's a 14-song project, but he does a lot of – it's definitely – when you listen to the collab album that he did with Riff Raff and then compare it to this one, obviously this is his passion project. It's an album.
Yeah, when I was listening to that Riff Raff album, like, it was, I think I said this on the podcast, but it was like hard to not hard to, I don't know how to explain it. I don't want to say hard to listen to, but it was hard to really like.
That Riff Raff and Yelawolf album, I thought was fun. That was fun.
It was definitely fun. It was good and it was fun. You know what I mean? But it was like
fucking 5.
There was just less thought about it. Like, you could listen to it as like background music, but then you're not like really paying attention to it. Whereas like other stuff, it's a little bit more content to the lyrics. It's like I'll literally stop what I'm doing and listen to it, kind of thing. And focus on it.
You'll enjoy this album for sure. Everyone that's listening to this right now, go check out that new Yelawolf album.
I want to listen to it. I listened to the first one, the first track on it.
The song Dope is cool. Hillbilly Einstein is the best song on the project, but I keep running it back. It's really good. Shout out to Yelawolf. Maybe someday our fucking platform here will get to the point where we can get the Yelawolf interview.
Did you say it was 5 projects in April?
Well, he's dropped 5 projects so far in 2021. He dropped 4 in April. Including the Casky project that came out in February. But it's interesting the amount of coverage that we have given to Yelawolf since he put out that song.
That just speaks to somebody who can fucking take the Gucci Mane approach. You know what I mean? And just rapid fire shit off. A different style of
hip hop, though.
I'm not saying style wise, but like in terms of like
he has a song
rapid fire releases. But
did you ever hear his track with Gucci Mane? She Just Wanna Party. It's a fun song. He and Gucci Mane did a song like 10 years ago, and it's actually pretty funny.
You just reminded me that we used to listen to a lot of Waka Flocka.
We did listen to a lot of Waka Flocka. Waka Flocka dropped some new shit recently. Waka Flocka graduated he got like some kind of degree. Yeah, and he got something with Donald Trump. Waka Flocka.
He had Donald Trump awarded him with something for like donating money. Yeah. Some shit.
No, I think it was just like Trump. I actually had it as a topic for one of the more recent episodes. Yeah, Waka Flocka Flame accepts Lifetime Achievement Award from Donald Trump. This was actually last week, April 21st. Waka Flocka has accepted a Lifetime Achievement Award from Donald Trump, reportedly signed in 2020 before the former president was voted out of the White House. A video obtained by TMZ, Walker receives the award in the form of a presidential medal and certificate from his pastor and mentor, Apostle Dr. Bridget C. Outlaw. The honor was given to the rapper for philanthropy and his work sponsoring the Chicago nonprofit Daughter of Destiny Outreach.
Yeah,
Donald Trump's administration was tapped in, bro. They fucking pardoned Kodak Black. They're giving Waka Flocka awards.
I feel like that was mostly a shallow attempt at really appealing to the black crowd, but like,
you know what though, man? Like anyone who
he had some people that were like 30 years old that kind of knew what was going on a couple of years ago, and they were like,
And anyone
"Yo."
in hip hop that is like remotely endorsed Donald Trump, like I know Kodak Black said some positive things about him with what Trump was allegedly in his administration was wanting to do with the black community and prison reform and all that shit.
Trump
Kodak Black
kind of
did
really more
positive
so did things for people that had money. So it makes sense. Like if you were,
you saw that green,
if you had money,
blue hundreds,
that you would want to get behind him because of some of the things that he was pushing, and if you got reelected, you were gonna have another 4 years of financial fucking killing it. You know what I mean? But Joe Biden wants that like wealth tax
increase
only on people who are earning either $400,000 themselves or more than $500,000 per household, which I can agree with because like if I look at like what I'm earning a year right now at my job, it's like what 30 something thousand or something like that. So it's like that's not a whole lot of money. But if you're making what is fucking 200? What is 400,000?
But anyway,
if you're making more than 10 times the amount of money that I'm making, and that's in US, so like fucking 14, 15 times what I'm making, and you can't balance your shit to a point where you're not losing money, that's, you know what I mean? And then a tax increase is going to fuck you up. That's kind of like you stepping out of your boundaries financially. You know what I mean? Like think about if you're making, so $400,000 US, 400,000 times 1.3, which is kind of the average US to Canadian translation. So it's 520. So if you're making $520,000 Canadian and you can't live within your means,
what are you doing?
That is your own fault. Like, you know 100%. What I mean?
I'm gonna propose a question to you real quick because as you can see, the wizard stick has grown since we started here, and I'm about to leak out of the urine hole. So I don't know. Usually, if one of us goes to the bathroom, Jason is always here, or someone else.
We just froze. I don't know if you can hear me.
Oh no.
Oh wait. Oh.
There we go. There we are.
There.
Sorry. I'm here. I need to urinate.
Okay.
Did you get any of that when I was saying that?
No.
Okay, so basically I need to pee really bad. Did you see the wizard stick?
I saw the 4 beers there. Or was that 4?
It's 3, and there's another one here. It's enough for me to have to break the seal.
It's funny. I was like kind of. I was almost at the point where I was like, I'm gonna drive to your house and borrow a beer.
If you want to, after we're done doing this. But if there's anything you have to get off your mind, you're just thinking about whatever, you're almost finishing the beer here, let it out right now. Don't feel uncomfortable talking to the screen. There is people that do podcasts without guests, just themselves. So if you got anything to say, here's your moment. I won't know what you say unless I watch this afterwards, which I probably will. But talk to the people. Let them know anything that's on your mind. Do it right
minimize
now.
This window.
My pants.
All right. So I'm gonna look into this Jack Harlow shooting incident because I heard about this today. I haven't watched anything on it, but apparently there's a shooting at a nightclub that Jack Harlow was at, and he's catching a lot of flack. And none of the gangsters in that town want him to come back because apparently it was his fault. Because most clubs, particularly in Louisville, what? We just froze up there a minute ago. And I texted my girlfriend and said, "You're froze." Oops. I guess I don't need to tell Mitchell about that. But Yeah, apparently a lot of the gangsters in this area don't want him to perform there anymore because allegedly it was his fault. I couldn't see that being the case, him being who he is, but you never know. Money does crazy things to people. I'm gonna see this. Let me see what happens here. But yeah, people. I guess the gangsters were saying the only people that don't get patted down going into a club is the artists. So
How did
I
you
haven't
fare?
watched this video yet.
How did you fare?
I can't really hear you, Mitch. Hold on.
Yo. Oh, you're watching a video.
Yeah, I'm just watching the TMZ video of Jack Harlow.
Yes, Jack Harlow was in a club in Kentucky during the Kentucky Derby festivities this weekend, and somebody got into altercation. I think it was a male and a female, and it ended up with some gunshots being fired off, and Jack Harlow was caught in the middle of it. If you watch the video, he's like relatively like he's like around everybody, so it's not surprising that that shit went off. But like, why? Like, how could that coincidentally just like happen around him? Like, what are the chances? Like, he's just moving a little bit carefully. Like,
something that Mackie brought up to me earlier was that, like, you know, some of the, well, and I just said this a second ago, but, you know, the only people that don't get patted down going into a club are the artists. You know what I mean? So it was like maybe that was somebody he had with him. And unfortunately, that makes you responsible in some sort of sense, even though I think that's kind of dumb because, like, you can't control another person. But when you're in a very public space.
I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that, I mean, if you are the most popular guy in the club, they're going to let you in no matter what, not give you a hard time. But the people around you, I think it would be known by club owners and bouncers and stuff that those guys could be carrying, or, you know, I don't know if it's depending on what state it is and if it's legal or not, but I don't know. I don't think there was anybody in Jack Harlow's crew that were responsible for that incident at all.
No, based on what I just saw, it didn't look that way at all. The incident happened far away from him.
So I saw a comment and someone was like, I'm happy he survived because I wasn't ready for Jack Harlow, Tupac comparisons.
I replied to that comment. Did you see that because I replied to that comment?
No way. Really?
Yeah.
We're both talking about what are the odds that we both saw the same comment? Where was this at?
I can't remember.
That's crazy, bro.
But I saw that exact same. It was like DJ something, and I was like, I was just being sarcastic. I was like, yeah, it's huge. I was basically saying like, oh yeah, you can really compare Jack Harlow to fucking. What did I say? I was like, oh yeah, spitting image of Tupac.
Yeah, well, no doubt. I mean, how could they even compare Tupac to the greatness of Jack Harlow? Tupac never made What's Poppin', let alone even rapped on that beat. 6ix9ine's stolen hat from last week's concert that we discussed on the last episode is now bidding on eBay for nearly $100,000. Why do you think people are willing to buy this, and do you think that they'll actually be able to flip this down the road for more money?
For more money, probably not. But for whoever has it right now, they're definitely going to make bank off that, which I think is dumb. But
it's dumb for the thought of the actual thing that they're buying is, but at the end of the day, the story and the stuff surrounding that could make it worthwhile. But people are only really buying that shit unless they either have like a boatload of money that they're just willing to blow, or they're buying it as an investment to be like, remember back in 2021 when 6ix9ine did his first show after getting out of jail and COVID and someone stole his hat? This is the hat right here. You want to buy it and put it in your fucking hip hop museum in 2035 for $500,000 so I can make that $400,000 profit. And that scenario that I just made up, it makes sense, but I don't really, I mean, that's pretty hypothetical.
Probably fucking take a picture of it and sell it as an NFT in like fucking 2072.
Yeah, maybe it'll serve as a nice little 2072 NFT picture. But yeah, 6ix9ine performed a part of that Triller Fest in Miami last night as well. I don't know if you looked at the videos. It was a relatively large festival crowd. I think like Tyga performed as well, Lil Wayne, 2 Chainz. I saw Jake Paul was on the stage when 6ix9ine was performing too, which I was like, okay, that makes sense. Like that these guys are together because Jake Paul was also rocking out with Tyga as he was performing. But 6ix9ine also, it seemed like it went well. It seemed like people in the crowd were into it. I saw some guy post a video saying that he should have smacked the snitch out of him when he jumped in. He crowd surfed on top of him.
I'll be right back. I gotta take a piss too.
You go take a piss. I'll talk about this.
I've been holding it in.
Go take a pee.
Right.
But 6ix9ine labeled X the king of Florida while he was performing. And I think he played 2 of his songs, Baby Look at Me, and he played another song. But I don't think that's a wrong. I feel like that's not necessarily like, even if you look at the numbers and everything out of any artist that came out of Florida in the last 5-10 years, king of Florida, the king of Florida in the hip hop game is definitely, I think it's Rick Ross. But in the new generation, I think that it's safe to say that X could be the king of Florida. I think he's definitely like universally has had the most commercial success for someone who has definitely never made music to appeal to the mainstream audience and then have that kind of success that he has had. X definitely fits the criteria for that kind of claim. For 6ix9ine to make it, I mean, it is, I don't know what you can take from that. I don't think that's necessarily a cosign, but he's an entertainer. At the end of the day, he's going to say whatever is probably going. I think that 6ix9ine actually probably says what he feels, but he also had a relationship with X before X passed away. So that kind of makes sense too. But he was also in Florida, so he's going to say something to get that crowd energetic because that's where X is from. So yeah, I guess that's why he said that X is the king of Florida. Not the current king of Florida, that's of living artists, but I wonder who that would be. Kodak? I don't know. I'm talking to myself. But yeah. This is a Zoom podcast right now. And we are getting through this. And COVID, I hope, can back off and we can all get our vaccines so we don't have to do stuff like this ever again. It's definitely an interesting experiment. I think the people that are watching this that have watched every episode of date need to definitely show some love and comment and thumb it up and show us some appreciation for making sure that we get this done no matter what, because we are going to come with episodes every single week. Let us know what kind of topics you would like to hear us discuss, even if you have an opinion that you like to have us give our 2 cents on and provide some input on. Comment that below. If anything is going on, whether it's not music related, whatever, hip hop related, a hot take, comment it. We'll put it in the episode and we'll shut you out. We'll address that shit appropriately, respectfully, my man and woman. And I want Mitch to come back because I'm looking at a chair right now. And I'm still looking at a chair. And I'm genuinely curious as how he talked to the camera for the duration of the time that when I went and peed. And he got the ball. And he's rocking out. And this is how it is. And I'm rocking out. And he got some food. And it's crazy. And I'm vibing out. And he's putting his headphones on. And we're back.
Sorry.
Whoa, bro.
I don't know if I missed something there. I peed and then I got pizza.
Well, bro, I was talking to the camera for like 2 minutes, and I continued. Basically, 6ix9ine called X the king of Florida. I said I agree.
I agree too.
Generation. I said overall, I would probably put like Rick Ross in that state. As I know, a lot of people probably disagree that don't understand how influential and successful Rick Ross is. But when you look at the numbers from X, I know that's not the only way that you would define somebody to be the king. I mean, their influence is definitely justified by numbers, though. And X was never probably someone who was making music to get mainstream success to appeal to everybody, but he has some pretty fucking impressive numbers he's put up
Absolutely.
on the board.
Well, I think like I feel like honestly in terms of like really I don't know how to describe it. I would call it like real music because I feel like a lot of more popular people today like a lot of their success, if you removed the producer from the equation, their music wouldn't be so good.
Yeah.
And he's one of those people that, and I remember.
I mean, a lot of music, if it doesn't have any kind of music backing it, a lot
I'm
of
not
artists.
saying I'm not saying no music backing. I'm saying there's people who can speak on fucking you slapping on a table, making your own drums, and it's impressive.
Yeah.
If a lot of the people that are popular today did that, just rap to like a boom 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 boom, you know what I mean, like a basic beat, it wouldn't sound good. X was one of those people where like the content of what he had to say, and not all the time, and this is something that I really appreciated about him, was that he could go between basic lyrical content and really deep lyrical content. Mm-hmm. Whereas a lot of people don't really have that ability to write like he did. But I think one of the first things that I listened to, I can't remember the name of it. It was like I met the devil in Miami.
I know that
everything was going to be okay. It's like it's not even really like a song. It kind of is, but it's like almost like spoken word poetry over a song. And I remember listening to that, and I was like, this guy is going to be one of the biggest artists on the planet.
And I mean, that's a speculation that wouldn't necessarily never really actually come into fruition.
Because he died, and that's what I'm saying. Like if
but he did before he died, and he did after he died as well. Like he became fucking big.
Well, exactly.
I showed you when you guys when like I first heard of X was when I did that show in Miami, and he was the headliner. Like in 2016, like in June 2016, I had never have heard of him. The only person I heard of that was on that showcase was Ugly God. Supposed to be Lil Yachty, and then it was Ugly God, and then Ugly God wasn't even able to make it. X did headline, he did show up and perform, and it was in Florida, and it was crazy. Like it was interesting that I went to Broward County. I stayed in Hollywood, Florida, because I met this chick. Me and Mickey met her, and she was promoting the show when we went to South by Southwest in March 2016, and she was like, if you guys want to be a part of my Lil Yachty show in June, hit me up. And then we went right to it and figured out how to make it happen. And the Lil Yachty ended up, from that time span of like March 2016 to June 2016, he became so popular, he was getting booked probably for more money and everything. He ended up doing that show. Ugly God was kind of getting popular at that time, so he became the headliner, and then they had X as well as the co-headliner. So it was an Ugly God X show. And there was a bunch of other people that opened up before X, and I was one of them. And they even asked me to host it at one point when I first got there, because it was like kind of disorganized and all over the place. And people were showing up. They were gonna do a rap battle and whatever. And Chief Pound, who was Denzel Curry's DJ at the time, who's now putting out music of his own, that's fire. He was the DJ, I believe, for my set too. But I saw X perform like before he was X that everybody knew. And he was performing on his come up in Florida, definitely when he was like kind of in that SoundCloud underground phase. And I remember I didn't even realize he was performing, but I ended up, after he passed away, I definitely I went super deep into trying to see if he actually did perform at that event. And I found some videos and stuff, which is cool. But yeah, he, I think, yeah, but nonetheless, basically the reason we're even talking about this is because 6ix9ine said that he was the king of Florida, X was, and he played a few of his songs last night during his set at the Triller Fest. And Ski Mask actually responded to 6ix9ine's performance, or fact that he played a few X songs during his set, and he said that Ski Mask tweeted, "Random N-words that perform take a step back or look at me but only know the first 3 lines," and then he put a couple rolling eye emojis. I feel like that's not really the takeaway from that.
No,
I mean, the fact
I feel like, and I feel like I'm like this often, but I always look at like what is like, I don't know. I'm not trying to be a pessimist, but I always look at people, especially people like 6ix9ine, that are like just clearly shitty. You know what I mean? And I feel like at this point in his career, like if this was before he went to jail, he probably would have been fucking shitting on X9 right now, or 6ix9ine, or fucking X. Jesus Christ!
If he was alive, I feel like
if he was alive, he'd be shitting on him right now.
If he was alive.
You know what I mean? Like if he was like, "Oh, I'm the king," he would be in there saying, "Oh, I'm the king of Florida." You know what I mean? Like X right now,
Maybe.
the whole time before he went to jail, he was like, who can I beef with that's going to be the biggest attraction grab or attention grab?
I mean, at one
Um,
point, X was like in 2018 too. Like, or not 2018, he passed away in 2018, but like 2017, like the summer of 2017, X was getting into some beefs like constantly. Remember when that guy from like, what was it, Rob Stone or someone in his crew knocked X out while he was on stage? Like that was something that actually happened, and then X just had like this super like positivity transition and stuff, which was short lived. But I feel like that was still how people remembered him right now. But it was
hmm.
only months before he passed away. But I don't know about that, but I think that I mean it can be perceived like 6ix9ine was actually genuinely paying some homage to X by playing a few of
Probably,
his.
and I'm not saying that he
Like it's
wouldn't
not like
have.
he had to do that, so like why would Ski Mask even criticize him for not like what do you want him to
Well,
perform?
what
Fucking
I'm
whole
saying is
set
that he
of,
probably
like,
kind of did have to do that because of the
I think it
position that
probably
he's in.
was an opportunity for 6ix9ine to earn some kind of like respect points from
Yes, that's what
a
I'm
general
saying.
community. It's like, oh, I'm not totally self-centered all the time, and I didn't, use
And
fucking gang to
and
popularize myself by saying.
and the thing is, I don't think that he actually thinks like that. I think that he's so opportunistic that it's like, if I can garner attention off of being a piece of shit right now, that's what I'm gonna do. But and that's what I think he has been until he went to jail.
Yeah.
And now I think the position that he's in is that I need to garner attention by humanizing myself and being nice.
I mean,
And
it's a
I
tricky
think
it's
that's
a tricky road.
exactly what it is, because you never know what somebody's actually feeling. But based on what he's shown people, that's what I would perceive it as.
When
He's
your
in a
when your
position now.
actual finances are strictly basically coming from your choices as a human being, you know, of how you kind of like display yourself to the public, whether or not you actually are believing in what you're saying and the type of actions that you are expressing to everybody, it probably can get pretty tricky. Like, oh, do I be an asshole and beef with a bunch of people who I necessarily wouldn't beef with otherwise if I knew it wasn't going to get me the attention to make me a bunch of money?
Mhm.
Like,
Well,
or
before he was
like,
playing the super villain, but he had like the gangster backing, where it was like,
I mean, he still is. Like he said, he put up that Instagram clip before this show on Saturday where he was like, "I'm performing at Triller Fest in Miami. You know where I am. Come find me." And he's gonna keep doing that every single show that he does. Anytime he steps outside the house
but people are
and he
also
knows
caring less and
film,
less.
yeah, exactly. I think so, but I think that certain
Ethereum,
people aren't gonna forget.
Ethereum has hit $3,000 US.
Shout out to Ethereum, man. Everyone go invest their money. But I think that 6ix9ine. The thing is with 6ix9ine, he's gonna use that nonstop because his whole appeal to his audience and his whole claim to fame, aside from his music, I guess, but his music becomes successful from these type of these type not accolades, but these type of publicity stunts. Is basically being like, I'm gonna beef with whoever you think is the most dangerous, credible street rapper. And then when they don't do anything because they probably already got charges in the
Well, they're
past,
smart.
they're out of jail, they don't want to fuck with me because I'm a walking, especially because of the fact that he sat in a courtroom and snitched on a fellow gang member that he was with, regardless of how they treated him and how he justifies it. Um, people don't want to go back and forth with him because they know his ties potentially to law enforcement that could incarcerate them. So they're not gonna engage with his bait that he always sets out for certain rappers, and because it would be super obvious when 6ix9ine gets shot in Chicago by some guy who's identified to be like fucking Lil Durk's second cousin. Lil Durk doesn't want to have to deal with that because that's the real shit. 6ix9ine knows that he's in a position where he can just taunt people on the internet all day, so he can get enough attention from the base that won't be able to put two and two together to go buy tickets to a show and buy his merch and listen to his music, that he can continue with his career. But he's still gonna have to pay for security all the time. I think there will eventually be a time, and I don't wish any kind of harm or violence on anybody. I don't want 6ix9ine to get killed or whatever, but I mean, there is going to be a time, I think it's just inevitable, that he's going to run into a situation that is not going to end up being in his best interest because you put
And he's
that.
not going to be able to afford it.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe, I don't know. But he did that show. Seemingly going well. But it's like people aren't getting into a venue with fucking weapons to hurt a fucking, like, people do this. You go into a concert or a festival, there's a fucking pat down, there's, screenings and all that shit. When he hits the stage, it's safe. Like, no one's going to do anything to him. You got a bunch of dudes on stage anyway. You got Jake Paul on stage ready to KO anybody, any former UFC fighter. So, what are you talking about? But that's my 2 cents at 6ix9ine. I think if he just continues to move safely and then taunts people on the internet to hype up whatever he does next, and then makes another video saying, like, look what I just did. Look what all you guys said you were going to do to me. Nothing happened. If I was a fucking legit gang member that had ties in the streets, or I was in the streets and I was claiming there, I wouldn't even say anything. Why would you publicly? The person that's going to do something to 6ix9ine probably is not even going to say anything or has ever said anything on Instagram or any social media platform prior, because you don't want to get tied to that. I don't know. But anyway, he's an entertainer at the end of the day. He's entertainment. 6ix9ine is entertainment. And
like rap's WWE.
Rap is the WWE. Moving on here. Drake's Certified Lover Boy is expecting to drop closer to Summers now, as it was previously supposed to be released in January, but was pushed back due to Drake getting surgery on his ACL, which is a strange reason to push back an album release, but whatever. He put some photos on IG, him working in the studio, and captioning it "The Sunset Sessions." What are you expecting from a new Drake album right now? And because Drake also, he said something before. He's like, they're going to hate on this new album like they did with Views. Which makes me think it's going to be more of an R&B driven album, because that's more so what Views was. Do you think?
Well, I think.
What do you think Drake got to do right now in the eyes of Mitch Turner?
I think that Drake. I think that Drake has success with the R&B stuff or pop oriented, and so he's probably going to go in that direction for sure. Like if you look at Drake's earlier stuff, I think that what really propelled him forward was that he had rap with like a kind of R&B, or at least he was singing, doing some sort of melodic stuff on every song. You know what I mean? Like there was a musical element to it with his voice, where a lot of people that were in the rap scene weren't really doing that kind of thing. So in the way that he was doing it, like he kind of found this bridge between a little bit of R&B, making it poppy, but also rapping, where like he says it himself, like on that Pop Star record, I'm a pop star. You know what I mean? Like he is, he's kind of not necessarily in a realm of his own, but like he's in his own space where he shares in different markets in the music space and can attract all of this attention. So I financially, and like where he has been showing directionally that he's been going, since Views, it's most likely he's going to put out some sort of R&B pop oriented album. It would be crazy though if he came out with some bars.
I think that I think that there definitely will be some more hip hop oriented music, or like inside of that whole project. But with Views, like, I mean, like, that's what I was gonna say as well, because the 5-year anniversary of that project releasing came up like in the last week. And I remember when Views came out that it didn't necessarily get like the critical reception that the hype surrounding Views was hoping for, like the hype that him and his team was hoping for Views to receive. But I think that Views has aged pretty nicely. I was really like on a kick of listening to it like 3 weeks ago. There's a lot of great songs on that album. It has a certain feel to it. Like not every single project that somebody puts out has like an actual feel to it, whether you like it or not. That project definitely has like a consistent feel through it.
Drake is regardless of what anybody ever wants to say about Drake, like he, in terms of putting an album together, it's like even from his earlier work. You know what I mean? It was just way beyond, I think, what most people are capable of. You know what I mean? Like setting a tone and not just following that through, but then like moving to the next, you know what I mean? Like transitioning through an album.
Yeah, it's like almost like with strange comparison, but like Mac Miller with Divine Feminine, it was like not necessarily to a lot of like very dedicated Mac Miller fans. I don't know, depending on the fan and what made you a fan of Mac Miller. It's not necessarily, well, for me anyway, it's not at the top of the ranking when you would rank all their albums, but necessarily, but it still can be appreciated for like the consistency for the album, and Views can be appreciated for the consistency of just like staying on topic with what he was attempting to do with that project. And I think it has aged nicely because I think he wanted to express the different seasons of Toronto. Like he has that song towards the end of it, the interlude, Summer's Over, and like Fire and Desire. And the beginning of it, like the very first thing you hear when you listen to Views on I forget what the first name of the song on the album is, but it was like a sound effect of like the winter's breeze. And I think that he was really trying to communicate what it was like growing up in Toronto in a more like R&B driven direction on Views, which I think disappointed some people that were expecting to hear him doing stuff that was similar to like If You're Reading This Is Too Late. But I think this new album that he's supposed to be coming out with was supposed to come out in January, Certified Lover Boy. I don't know. I mean, I can't see Drake putting out something that's disappointing. I think whatever he puts out. The thing is with Drake is what's interesting. I think Drake is so big now, and everybody knows that he's successful, that basically he just needs to like communicate what it's like behind the scenes, because he's not really somebody that does many interviews or public appearances or anything. Like his music is basically what communicates his day-to-day life and the success that comes with that to the people. So that is like Drake's relatability is kind of difficult. It's impressive that he's been able to be relatable enough to an extent for people to listen to his music and relate to what he's saying at this point of his success. But
Drake is like the king of dumbing stuff down, but keeping it like deep.
Yeah, well, he's just able to just say really simple things that can sometimes be layered, or
that can relate on multiple levels. So it's like you can actually relate to him, or not be able to at all relate to him, but you can still relate to the content
visualize what he's trying to communicate. Like you can understand that he is dealing with this, and he says it in like simplest terms for everybody to be able to listen to it and know what he's talking about.
Yeah,
you know. But I'm interested to hear what, and even like the rappier songs off Views, I don't even put anywhere close to like some of his better songs that are just no hook. He's just rapping the whole thing. Like Western Road Flows is a nice song, and Views is a good song, and they're great when you listen to them. But I don't think they can compare to a lot of his better, like 4 p.m. in Calabasas, 9 a.m. in Dallas. I don't know, like shit like that. But I'm interested to hear what Drake has coming. And aside from that too, like I feel like the big three of the last 10 years have not dropped an album in a decent amount of time. I mean, Drake is definitely the most active. He always has to be, but there's rumors of a new J. Cole album coming out on May.
Kendrick has to drop sometime soon because it's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. People thinking J. Cole's going to drop May 14th and Kendrick's going to drop May 7th because the TDE posted something on Thursday, I think, with like the countdown to May 7th, saying that there was some. It was just a countdown, and they were like, "It's almost time." And some people think that means Kendrick is dropping, SZA, Isaiah Rashad. What do you think?
People are going to be. I think that if.
What would your expectations for something like that be right now?
When I saw that, based on like them, like the kind of vibe over there, I feel like it's not going to be Kendrick.
Yeah, I feel. I mean, I don't know what.
I feel like they have been super quiet to set Kendrick up, and then they say, "Hey, we're going to release something." And then it's not going to be Kendrick, and then Kendrick's just going to come in like the next week out of nowhere like that.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would actually make sense.
I feel like it's gonna cause a whole bunch of like, what the fuck? Why didn't this happen? You know what I mean? And then it blows. You know what I mean? People talk about it online, like it wasn't Kendrick. Blah 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 blah. There's gonna be about a week attention span for that, and then boom, Kendrick drops on Friday. You know what I mean? I feel like
kind
that
of
would
like distract people from what they were expecting it to be.
Well, people are gonna anticipate that, and then they're gonna see it, and then they're gonna freak out about it. I don't know. This is just a hypothesis that I had at work the other day, fucking thinking inside my own head, but like you know, what if it wasn't him, and the attention that's drawn in from it not being him creates more hype, and then he drops. You know what I mean? It's like,
which is kind of shitty for the artist who it actually is about. But that's the thing too. Like they have a decent roster.
Well, but the thing is, it sets both of them up for success, because if people are expecting it to be Kendrick,
and it's like somebody that is like the new signee of them.
Yeah, it's gonna be, even if it's not what they wanted, they're still everybody's gonna be like, "Who's this?
Yeah,
what is this?" And then they're gonna be like, you know, yeah, it fucking hurts on the back end, but it's like, why isn't this Kendrick? And then boom, Kendrick drops, and I don't know. That was just a thought I had.
Disappointment that gets like
there's some gain something here, lose something there, but
yeah,
for some reason that's how I felt it was gonna fold out.
When I really think about it, when you're talking like that, I mean, they know what they're doing on the management side and the label side. So
I just feel like it's gonna be creative. If it's gonna be Kendrick,
I feel like it's too obvious for it to be Kendrick. It could be SZA, which is huge anyway. It could be Ab-Soul. It could be Isaiah Rashad.
Oh my God! Imagine if they fucking dropped Ab-Soul and then dropped Kendrick the next week.
Bro, I'm ready for new Ab-Soul. Like that is something that like everybody just like respects Ab-Soul, but like let's be real, Ab-Soul has not dropped in like 5 years, and Ab-Soul still is one of my favorite rappers. Where's the Ab-Soul album? If they say no, it's Ab-Soul, I would be very fucking surprised, bro. I mean, you guys people are familiar with who's on your roster and who the superstars are, and you do this for Ab-Soul. I don't think anyone could even think that it would be Ab-Soul, but it should be Ab-Soul. The best one.
I feel like if it was Ab-Soul, there would be actually a considerable crowd of people that are like, "What the fuck?" Unless it was crazy. No, I think unless Ab-Soul. No, there would be a lot of people that would be happy, because there's a lot of people that fuck with good rap that would be like, "Damn!" But like, I feel like a lot of like fucking younger people like this day, like people that are probably like 6-7 years younger than us, they might want Kendrick, but I don't think they'd want Ab-Soul. I feel like they'd be like,
I want Ab-Soul.
I want Ab-Soul. There's tons of people that want Ab-Soul, for sure. But like fucking young kids that are listening to fucking like Lil Baby don't want Ab-Soul.
They might, but I mean, Lil Baby is pretty amazing. He's pretty dope rapper.
He is, but in a different way.
Yeah, it's true. He's not Ab-Soul type of conscience, but I don't know just from this here as well. But like, there's also speculation that J. Cole is going to drop on May 14th. Boss put up a picture on Instagram. He deleted it afterwards, but he just made the caption. It was J. Cole rapping. He said, "The off season, pack your bags in 2 weeks." And then J. Cole also put up an Instagram story saying he was driving around listening to the off season, because that's allegedly what is going to be the title of his next. I think people are saying it's going to be a mixtape before his next album that's going to be called The Fall Off. And then I think before that, it's supposed to be another project called It's a Boy. It's from like when he put this like a whiteboard of a bunch of new projects. And he was like, he's like, I still got a couple of things to check off the list before I scram, before I did. I think that if J. Cole drops like 3 more classic albums and then never returns again, that is legendary status. Like that's a perfect career. You just have straight classics. You don't ever really get too in tap with celebrity stuff. You only focus on releasing music that has a long-lasting effect, and then you change people's lives through your music, and you have an impact, and then you dip and you enjoy the fruits of your labor. That's when you're fucking.
The thing is that you have to move on, and I feel like that's just starting to become a consistent theme in hip hop. Is it's like, and Joe Budden spoke about this on his podcast a long time ago, like when he first was it? I can't remember what he was doing, but he was speaking about when they started the Spotify deal. He was saying his accountant said to him, like, you know, if you want to make X amount of dollars, you need X amount of revenue streams. You know what I mean? Like, it's people in hip hop. I think a lot of people get into it and they're like, I'm gonna make all my money off this. Like, if you're Drake, and Drake doesn't make all of his money off of that. I'm sure Drake is very diversified in terms of income, but he can make those kind of numbers. You know what I mean? He can do that kind of money in music, but that's not realistic for a lot of people. You need to really spread out your kind of income base, I guess. I actually can't remember where we got to this topic from.
J. Cole.
Oh, J. Cole. Yeah, so I feel like he's kind of setting up like a label, and people under him to support him as he kind of diversifies his career.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really ever have looked at J. Cole as like the business thinking type of artist, but he could very well be cryptocurrency Scarface.
No, I don't mean that, but he's damn sure better at putting together a label than Eminem.
KID, Boss, Cause.
He's got a roster under him. You know what I mean? So he's going to be making.
He does have a roster.
So he's going to be making a percentage of that. You know what I mean? He's going to be compiling that and putting that together. That's something that he's groomed into what it is.
Yeah,
you know
100%.
So
if sorry, continue.
It just makes sense for him to make an album called The Fall Off. You know what I mean? Like, he's trying to.
Man, if J. Cole releases an album called The Fall Off, that needs to be monumental. We need a masterpiece album to come out right now. I don't feel like we've had one.
Well, I feel like he's just like, he's a champion, you know what I mean? Like, when you look at it, and it's not the same game at all, but when you look at like fighters, they have these years where they're just top contending and you can't fuck with them. But eventually somebody new comes up that's the next person that fills that role. And I feel like J. Cole, honestly, probably has some pretty comfortable years if he wanted to keep rapping and keep rapping and keep rapping.
Yeah.
But it's like, you got to make room for the next guys. You know, you look at the age of some of these guys that are on his label, and it's like, they're in their time to be in their prime, like he was. And they're good enough.
It's interesting because it's like when you think of like the J. Coles, the Drakes, the Kendricks, and then you think of the next generation of like artists that are coming out right now and have came out the last couple of years that could like replace them as they just continue to get older.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I have a difficult time trying to think of artists that can compare to what they were doing. I mean, obviously you could say Lil Baby, you could say NBA Youngboy.
I couldn't.
I don't feel like it's the same type of.
I don't feel like it's them.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
maybe Lil Baby, definitely not NBA Youngboy.
I mean, NBA Youngboy, I saw some crazy statistic the other day of NBA Youngboy that like it was like only achieved by Drake above him. It was like the number of, I don't know. There's so many different breakdowns of all these fucking records. People break records every 5 minutes, but NBA Youngboy is not someone whose name is to be played with.
He's definitely got some good success, but I just don't feel like
he's not a joke. He's
not a joke, but like when we were, do you remember what our music room looked like in elementary school?
Yes.
Do you remember that banner that went across the top of the room? And it counted down like centuries. It was like 1700s, 1600s.
You know what? That's fucking crazy that I know exactly what you're talking about. It
showed like where Mozart was. It showed where this artist, that artist was. NBA Youngboy would never be on that line.
He's only like 20, so we'll wait and see.
Sure, but I just feel like he can't.
That's a prestige. I mean, to be on some like Walmart fucking printed off elementary school music.
Sure, I'm just saying that I feel like he's somebody that garners a large audience, but doesn't have a serious like societal impact on that crowd.
I think he does.
He says relatable things and then stuff that people that are outside of his fucking relatable group find like interesting. Like white people listen to gangster rap. That's a fucking huge part of shit. But like, I feel like he's not pushing any envelope. But he's not
I can't really
pushing
comment
any.
on it because I don't really listen to a lot of his music. I've listened to a few projects from start to finish, but there's very. I mean, NBA YoungBoy puts numbers out on the board, and
He definitely gets numbers, but
he's consistent. He's put out like a lot of full length albums and does not fuck with the industry game, and he still does better numbers than like majority of industry rappers, and he has very few collaborations, and he just actually has a very strong fan base that are just like he's Jesus to them, which says something, I think, because his music is struggle music. That's not really.
It is struggle music. I don't know. I just feel like he's not.
Well, he's not.
I feel like he doesn't have long term. I don't know. Yeah, he's not. Yeah,
he's will have long term success forever, but I mean, he's in jail right now. But he's not. You know, the J. Cole, Drake, Kendrick level of songwriting and versatility and relatability that comes from the music that they make. No,
yeah.
NBA YoungBoy's not tapping into that, and Lil Baby is much closer, but probably not tapping into that either. And when I try to think of who are the new artists that are in our generation right now or in the last year or 2 years that could potentially reach that level, off the top of my head, I'm having a hard time trying to figure that out. But low key, have you listened to Marlon Craft?
No. But what I was trying to say is I feel like some of the guys under J. Cole, they're not necessarily there right now. But I feel like some of those guys have the capability to be
there's
next generation. You know what I mean? Like if you want to talk about concentrated fucking power, like his group is that. You know what I mean? Like look at like Drake in comparison. Like he's got some people signed to him that are like decent, but like, do you think he's got anybody signed to him that's gonna fucking take over? Not a chance.
Drake doesn't even sign rappers.
But he has OVO. Like, what are people still signing to that? Like, who the fuck is on OVO?
I have not really heard of much OVO endorsements over the last.
But he's got all these people around him that are like
Roy Woods, Nas and Jordan, Party Next Door, that P. Oh, he's a rapper. But anyway,
that's what I'm saying.
Basically, what I was getting to here is if Drake and Kendrick and J. Cole all release an album on the same day, which could happen. Maybe they should all collude and do that because they have the power to fucking do the coolest shit in hip hop history. Have the three biggest artists right now.
What if they just did a collab album? That'd be sick.
Dude, like if I was Drake or Kendrick or J. Cole, I would 100% be all down for that idea based off of the fact that just
the numbers would be nuts.
Absolute bomb drop that you could be a part of. Like, why would you not do that? That's insane.
Yeah, and it would be so competitive and so good.
Oh man,
it'd take years. It would honestly be like. It'd be like a fucking 5-year project.
Well, TDE's president, he shut down the speculation of a Kendrick J. Cole collab album. He went on live or something, I don't know, but people were asking him about it, and he said that wasn't going to happen. And then he retraced his steps, and he was like, "Oh, I wouldn't be against it happening. I'd like to see it happen." But I feel like that's a myth that was fucking debunked 8-9 years ago. But there's no Kendrick and J. Cole album ever. But if you had to choose all on the same day who you would listen to first, a Kendrick, J. Cole, or Drake album, who would you listen to first?
Probably Kendrick or J. Cole, honestly.
Why?
Because I find Drake now, with honestly the odd exception, makes just kind of almost too relatable music, where it's like I don't even want to listen to it, where it's like I feel like J. Cole and Kendrick get really, really like personal,
It's like you haven't
You
heard
know
from
what I
them
mean?
in so long. It's like if you're
Yeah.
fucking, you got family members that you talk to every single day. You got the guy that fucking your cousin you talk to every week calling you up. They got good stories, but you
I don't know.
usually
I feel like
you want to hear from the fucking aunt and uncle that you haven't heard from.
I feel like I still want to hear from J. Cole and I still want to
Yeah.
hear from Kendrick, but I don't want to hear from Drake in the same way I don't want to hear from Eminem. I know that Eminem, anytime he drops, is going to be crazy, but I just want to hear something that's like exciting and new. And like Kendrick and J. Cole have always been kind of more exclusive in their drops.
You know that it's going to be special.
I know, yeah, I know that Drake is going to be good. You know what I mean? At the worst case, he's going to be like, yeah, this is good. You know what I mean? Like, worst case. Yeah, it's not going to be special because, like, I know what Drake can do, and I've heard so much of it. Like,
It definitely be special in comparison to majority of other artists, but the special exclusivity that comes with a Kendrick or J. Cole album because of how little we get to hear from them, especially Kendrick.
Yeah, and like when you listen to like Drake's earlier albums, like he does get very personal, and like there's this level between being personal to yourself and being relatable that I think really sucks people in. And I feel like Drake went beyond that like line to the more relatable. So it was like it I don't know. There just feels like there's less personality in it or something. Like I just feel like he knows what to say.
I think I'm more interested to see how Drake continues to fucking just produce an amazing album at this point in his career. I mean, he's like at this point, it's just like how much longer can you continue dominating and figuring out how to make something that everybody will stop what they're doing and add it to their playlist and decide to listen to it when they're doing it.
I don't feel like Drake will ever have a problem being on a playlist.
Not like a curated playlist, but I mean like individual listeners. Like we'll decide to listen to Drake and put it in their own playlist along with the next new hottest artist that they use.
I actually don't think. I think Drake has like super high exposure, but he doesn't have.
He's amazing.
I don't think that he has the longevity of like. Whoa. That was my phone vibrating on a play.
My man just said Drake didn't have longevity after he's fucking.
No. I'm not saying he doesn't have longevity. He has longevity. I mean his tracks. Like he releases singles with people often and they do really well, but they're like playlist songs. Whereas like I feel like, and I'm not.
Drake.
It's a different kind. It's a different kind of longevity. Drake has like playlist longevity with like hit singles, whereas like I feel like J. Cole and Kendrick have like whole albums that you're gonna listen to in 15 years, and I feel like Drake isn't really doing that anymore.
His purpose is different.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. The way that you're saying it might.
Drake has longevity in the same way that you listen to like specific Britney Spears songs from like the 2000s, but you don't listen to a whole Britney Spears album. You know what I mean? Whereas
unless you're a fan, Drake a little bit more on the artistic aspect of that comparison, but I know what you're trying to say because I can listen to the whole Drake album.
I can too, but it's like
very easily and love it.
Oh yeah, it's good, but it's not comparable. Like you can't look at views and compare it to like, damn, in the same kind of like I'm gonna want to listen to every single song on this in 15 years.
Maybe. I like
but then if you look at their earlier work, if you look at like,
So Far Gone is a timeless class.
Exactly. So yeah, Take Care and So Far Gone. Those are the two albums. I
can
remember the covers.
Nothing was the same as your favorite Drake album.
Yes, it is my favorite Drake album. But what I was going to compare though was those albums that you just mentioned, where they get very personal and like say like Section 80. You know what I mean? Where it's some more raw form of their thoughts than something more appealing to a wider audience.
Yeah, 100%.
But I feel like as time
commercialized.
progressed, Kendrick and J. Cole definitely have kept more of that element of like personal detail that Drake has tossed out the window in hopes of a broader audience.
Yeah, I mean Drake he's played all the games. He can compete with the Kendricks and J. Cole's as far as just like how does the overall album sound and what are the depths of the songwriting in this album, and where does that fare in comparison to those type of artists? What is the hit value? What is the fucking in the club value that can compete with the Lil Baby and Lil Durks and everything? Drake is the most versatile artist when it comes to checking off all those different boxes in that overall checklist.
Yeah.
Which Drake has had an unprecedented run that has never been even, contested really in the grand scheme of hip hop, which he puts him at number one, I think. When you really look at everything, and
in overall terms, I think currently for sure. But I feel like in terms of like, I don't know. I feel like he might be looked at a little bit differently down the road. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that what makes it interesting is like, yes, he's done it all now. Like he's everything. What does his music sound like now? Maybe his music could be more personal and less concerned with commercial success now that he's had it all. What else does he have to prove? And I think everyone knows that. So it's like that's what will make his new project that's coming out much more interesting, because it's like, we know what you can do. You just did a 3-track EP, and all 3 of those songs charted number 1 on the Billboard Top 100 through it all genres. You dropped 3 songs, and they were the biggest songs out of every song that came out, bigger than fucking songs that were put out by specifically pop songs that just were put out for the intention of just being big songs. You did a fucking 6-minute straight up bar heavy track with Rick Ross, and that beat everything else out. So it'll be interesting to see what he makes when he doesn't have to worry about numbers. I don't think he's had to worry about numbers for those last 2-3 projects.
I mean, like, he's never gonna have a problem ever. But
yeah, shout out to Drake though, one of my favorite artists. But I think on that note, man, we've been going in for a minute, so I'm really hoping that this whole conversation will be easily exported out of Zoom here. I think we're good to wrap it out. I think we put in a 2-hour shift here.
Yeah. Okay. Did we? I was wondering. I can't see how long we've been going.
I would think I came down here at 9. It's 11:20, but we talked for like a half hour before we started, so we're definitely creeping up on 2 hours if we haven't already done 2 hours. But interesting episode for sure. We kind of just freestyled it for the first bit, then we got into finance, and then we got into the topics. But I think we had some good discussions. I mean, we're adapted to not having the resources to be able to be in person and do this shit, but I think I'm happy that we came through and still adapted to Zoom calls and whatnot. So
yeah, we'll have to get our female companions to take pictures of us to use for the thumbnail. But I think we're good.
I didn't think about it like that. Ooh, I don't know. We'll figure that out. Yep. Also, after we get off the call here, after this ends, I mean, if you want a Bud Light, pull up. Oh my God.
I think I'm about to make some food actually, and get in the shower.
Late night shower.
Oh yeah, buddy. With
just an update on the Wizard stick too before we end this off here. No doubt, no wonder I had to pee so bad at that one point. I was in so much pain. I mean, when we run this back, I mean, no one will be able to see the reaction of the other person when they weren't talking, but I was in severe pain. But so this is 1, 2, 3, 4. I drank, and then I got this one here. So we drank 5 during the course of this conversation.
When we really get some money, we're gonna have to get some like hats. It's gonna be like the pissing hat. It's gonna have a GoPro pointed at the face, and it's like the run down the stairs to get to the fucking bathroom and take a piss.
What do you mean the pissing hat? What do you mean?
You get a fucking GoPro on that hat, so it's like your face, and you're like, oh no, I gotta pee. Running down to the stairs, and you're like, ah. And then the
be able
conversation will
to be
continue.
seen
When
by
we have a
everybody.
high budget, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have
Oh,
that.
for
We're
one
gonna
of
have the
us.
hat. We're gonna have the hat with the camera
Nice.
just for that moment. And it's like I gotta pee, and you run down the stairs.
I rock with
Got
that.
that
So yeah,
camera angle.
basically, so I could dip out and still go pee and still be like cautious enough to like not show
Yeah,
my
it's like
private area.
focused on your face. You just hear the conversation in the background.
We're still talking, but I'm peeing at the same time. That's a smart move. Okay, man. Well, I'm happy with this. We can wrap this up. Episode 6, Zoom vibes. Hopefully, when you hit the exit button, it'll have this whole thing saved. And if it doesn't, then we just had a good conversation for 2 hours that will not do anything for us.
That's all right. That's what it would be anyway.
Yes,
no, I think we're good. As long as I can download this. I don't know how big it's going to be, but I think we're good.
Yeah, hopefully. Another news, man. Subscribe to the channel, like this, comment on it. Let us know what you'd like to hear us talk about moving forward. If you have any suggestions, any kind of segment ideas, anything like that. We're only in episode 6, so we're in the early phases. We're in it for the long haul. So let us know.
We love you.
But we love you, and thank you for tuning in. We are out of this bitch.
All right, man.
Oh, bro, good luck.